They could see what he was doing. They could see how he was abusing me. And they didn't think that we should be together. So I think I wanted to prove it to the world, because when he wasn't like that, he could be an amazing person. He had such great qualities. So I just wanted that all the time, and I thought if I just stayed with him and if I just worked with him, that somehow I could change him. Somehow I could stop him abusing me. But that wasn't the case. What was the most frightening thing? The most frightening thing, the time that I was most scared, that I thought that was it, that I was going to die, is when he came back. He used to lock me in the house because I wasn't to be trusted. He couldn't leave me alone because I would invite one of the neighbours round, someone from the area, and I would bring them in and quickly have sex with them and then tell them to leave, because that was the sort of person that he said I was. So he used to lock me in the house, and one day he returned back and he unlocked the door, and it'd come to a point where I'd adjusted to that. He made me believe that I couldn't be trusted. He made me believe that it was all right for him to lock me in the house. So I just adapted to it. And one day he came back and I just got out of the bath and I had some music playing, and I like, you know, slow jams and R&B. So leisurely I was in the bath and I came out and listened to some music, and he'd come back and he'd walked in, and then he looked at me and he said, "Right, so what have you been up to then?" And I told him, "Nothing, I've just had a bath and I'm just listening to some music." He said, "Right, I don't believe you. Who have you had in my yard?" And I was looking at him shocked, because he'd locked me in the house. So we was on a tower block on the 13th floor, which is very, very high. How the hell was I going to sneak someone into the house? He was adamant, and he really believed that I'd had someone in the house. Now he went to the windows and he started looking at the windows, and we're on the 13th floor. If anyone was crazy, I don't think anyone was crazy enough just to have sex with me would be climbing through windows on the 13th floor. And if anything, it would have to be literally the next door neighbour, and they would have to be out of their mind, because I don't even think it's possible. He's looking out the window and looking around as to see, I don't know what he was looking for. And then he turned back to me and he said, "You've been up to something. I know you've been fucking someone else in the house." I was scared, but I hadn't done anything wrong, because I knew, I could see the look in his eyes, I could see what was coming. And that was it. He's like, "Get out." And I've just got out of the bath, so I'm not really dressed. And I'm just thinking, right, well, I need to get some clothes on. So I'm hurrying around trying to find some clothes. And then he started chucking all my things at me, telling me, "Get out, you're a slag, you're disgusting." And I've been locked in the house. I haven't done anything wrong. And then that's it. It started. He started trying to push me out of the house. And then when I tried to go to the door and I tried to get out, because I was frightened what was going to come next, because I had already dealt with it for 7 years. So I knew the drill. I knew what was going to happen. So I tried to get out, that was it. And he was standing in front of the door. "You're not going anywhere until you tell me what you've been up to, who you've had in my house." And he dragged me into the living room and he pushed me on the bed, and he was sitting on me and he was just interrogating me, and he was telling me, "Tell me now who you've had in my house, tell me now." And he was hitting me and he was swearing at me, and he was just interrogating me. And I was crying and I was saying, "Please stop, please just let me leave, please, I haven't done anything wrong, I can't take this anymore, please just let me leave, just let me go, just let me leave, please just let me go." He wouldn't, I was struggling to get away, he wouldn't, and he pinned me down, and I'd got to the point where I didn't know what was going to come next. I couldn't predict it. I was just so frightened. And then he yeah, so I was struggling to get away. I couldn't, and then I started screaming for help, and I was screaming, please help, 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 and I was screaming. I was just screaming, help me, help me. And then he pinned me down, and then he covered my mouth. And he said, you're trying to make noise up in my yard. You're trying to get me evicted. That's all you do. All you do is cause trouble. All you do. See, you've caused this. You've caused this. You've made this. You're a slag. You're not trusted. You've caused all of this. I'm only doing this because I can't trust you. I'm only doing this because you're a slag. Tell me what you've been doing. And he'd occasionally take his hand from my mouth, and I just said, please just let me leave. Please just let me leave. He wouldn't. So I'd just try screaming. And then the dog, while all of this is going on, the dog is getting freaked out by what's going on, and the dog is coming for me. The dog is trying to bite me as well. He's a little bit pushing the dog away, but he's not really. The dog's barking, making up weird noise, and he's getting more aggravated by this, and he's just getting more angry, and he's telling me, this is all your fault. You're making me do this. Look what you're making me do. And I was screaming, and I carried on screaming, and then he got the dog's toy, which was a sock, and the dog used to chew on it, and it was all broken, and he grabbed it and he stuffed it in my mouth, and then he put his hand over my mouth, and I couldn't breathe, and I was so scared. I was so scared. I thought, that's it, he's going to kill me. He is going to kill me. And I couldn't breathe, and I was struggling, and he wouldn't stop. He just wouldn't stop. And then he took it off my mouth, and I said, please let me go, please, just let me go. And he just wouldn't stop.